sorry for the few minute delay. I had some technical problems as my computer is a potato. If I put the microphone near it, you can hear it's whatever's inside it exploding. There we go. Anyway, today what we're going to do is debunk some EU out myths in real time. I'll spare you infographics. Instead, let's actually go to the Leave campaign's main claim about the NHS. Let's put the microphone up here. Let's move the webcam like this. Tilt it up. Shoot my hair back. Tilt. Okay. NHS claim. What was the claim? It was in the hundreds of millions they were doing. Are you a claim? Are you negligent? Oh, well, vote leave. Facts.org do all the work for us. Oh, and economists are offering to audit the 350 million claim. So Vote Leave knows its 350 million NHS claim is untrue. So this is basically the claim that if we leave the EU, they're going to mystically come up with hundreds of millions of pounds that they can invest in other areas. And the NHS is important to every single person in Britain, but I think we're running the risk of it meaning almost nothing to every person in Britain, just saying those words, because it's constantly pulled out like the boy who cried wolf. People will go, oh, if you elect such and such, the NHS, if you do such and such, the NHS, if you hold your face like that, if you keep pulling funny faces, the NHS is going to end up looking like that. It's that sort of... So this is fullfacts.org, and I don't want to sit here reading all of this to you because that's not fun. Instead, let's actually go onto the Vote Leave website. If my browser can work, why have I got that open? Yeah. And see what they're doing. I did have everything prepared beforehand, but none of my gizmos were responding, so I had to shut this off and turn it on again. Come in. Come in. Oh, it is doing stuff. See, look how slow this is going. I'm looking for work. Do you really think I enjoy sitting around trying to use my computer? I spend most of my time wandering about the place. Yay! Now here, right in the URL, we can already shred this Leave campaign apart. This Vote Leave, Take Control, and make it sound like the HMS Great Britain has been like just tugged along by the EU forever. but this mentality is so immature. I'm struggling to find the words to tell you just how immature it is. It's like right now the EU and America are trying to get a huge transatlantic trade partnership built between the two. It's a huge agreement. They call it TTIP. You've probably heard it everywhere. And essentially the idea is to help our two great land masses develop trade agreements that would integrate everything from banking to agriculture to cheese, you name it, they want it, and they want it all together, because then it would help with investments, it would help move money and products without the barriers. And so let's say we leave and then we want to trade with the EU and America. They could push for us to sign up to the TTIP agreement, thereby removing this whole take control element, because vote leaves big idea is if we leave the EU, Britain can single-handedly do everything on its own. But surviving in the modern world is a bit like trying to move a wardrobe up a flight of stairs on your own. You could do it on your own. It'd be dangerous to do it on your own, but ideally you need two people. So Britain would be the person maybe at the bottom holding the weight of the wardrobe, you know, because we're so fantastic. And we don't want anyone else to run the risk of it falling on them because we're so selfless. That's us. We're modest about it. And you know, the EU or America or an island, you know, they'll be on the other end trying to pull it up the stairs. And that's you need two people. And our survival is built on working with others. And right now we're working with over 28 other nations in the EU. I think the EU's got 28 nations, it helps. EU number of nations. Yay, 28. See, my degree wasn't a total waste. So, right now they're claiming every week we hand over 350 million to the EU as well. So let's just Google that. Let's ignore my waffling because I think we've only got like 10 minutes in the case of 350 million. Guardian's saying the claim is wrong. Telegraph is saying it wrong on the Mirror. Let's go straight to fact check. So this is something we can all do. You find a claim and you go on fact check. This is done by Channel 4, the Jon Snow, who turns out he knows everything. Don't let Game of Thrones fool you. This man, genius. So if we vote to leave, then the 350 million we send to Brussels every week can be spent on priorities like the NHS. See, they said spent on priorities. The problem is our current government has borrowed more money than any other government previously, and the amount of debt Britain owes has actually exponentially gone up. So when they say 350 million should be spent on priorities like the NHS, the reality would be, as mentioned in PMQs yesterday, the reality is there's going to be a huge black hole in the budget and they're going to rejig it. The analysis: by the time the in-out referendum takes place before the end of 2017, you will be sick about hearing of this money per week. Yeah, I already am. The figure simply comes from taking Britain's gross annual contribution to the EU's finances and divided it by 52, which is how many weeks are in a year? Well, we can do that on my little calculator, can't we? I shouldn't have done that. Yeah. close enough. This gross figure was 18.3 billion in 2014-15, so it worked out to be just under 352 million a week. But if we look at the gross contribution, it doesn't tell the whole story because we get about half of the money back. So out of that 350 million, we're getting half of it back, and about half of 9 billion or so via a rebate that was negotiated by Margaret Thatcher. And the rest comes in the form of payments to Britain from various EU posts like the Agricultural Fund for Rural Development. Put it to vote leave that they are misleading voters by talking about the gross figure. After all, if I lend you 50 quid and you give me 25 back, I've given you 25, haven't I? A spokesman told us the issue is out of control. Once we handed over 18.3 billion, it's up to the EU how it hands a lot of it back. Money is divided by Brussels, not by people here. Probably wouldn't spend it on the same things as they would. Produce calculations thing. Here's a problem. Suffice to say, some organisations have produced calculations claiming that Brexit would save Britain tens of billions, while others said the economy might shrink on a scale no one bloody knows. It affects all the money, most of our jobs, and no one bloody knows. David Cameron offered us this referendum thinking it would sound good. Everyone loves referendums, everyone loves voting. I don't know, Dave, but when you actually get down to it, he's rushed through this referendum without educating a single goddamn person, and then we're stuck here going through fact-checking websites because the EU covers far too much for any one individual to know everything about. Even Stephen Fry would be baffled about this, and we all looked at him for the answers. And even the verdict here, we're still handing over 9 billion a year. Some would argue what we pay each year is outweighed by the benefits, but it's hotly contested. So it's like, how are we going to actually have a rational vote to leave if we're not even fully sure what the hell's happening now? Now, I played around with this yesterday, and it's saying my encoding's overloaded. Hopefully this video went slightly better. I'll be honest though, it's 5 AM politics. I mean, who the hell's awake at this hour? I'm still waking up. Yeah, I tell you, this referendum is not looking good. Because I know why we should stay. Because we're still recovering from the last financial collapse. As soon as our economy is booming, as soon as everything is fine and sorted, then we can have a rational decision about whether or not we want to leave the EU. But we can't say right now, whilst there's folks like me doing 0-hour jobs and looking for a stable piece of employment. Yeah, let's leave the EU. I'm there like steady on, hold up, wait a minute. If we leave and the economy shrinks or hiccups or shudders in the slightest, that is going to affect the chance of me, you, my mum, my brother, anyone from getting a full-time, decent, stable job with which they can build a life. And we're still unable to fully get that, because we're still having to shoulder the burden of the last bank collapse. So this means the economy isn't safer in David Cameron's hands in the slightest. In fact, he's willing to throw us off the edge. And didn't he spend that whole last election, 2015, telling us that's what Labour does? Yet here we are standing on a precipice yet again, except this time the full control of whether or not we collapse is in the hands of the British people. But there have been fed lies for the last 2 decades. that we run the risk of voting out. We run the risk of voting out because the Tories have always used the EU as a cricket bat whenever Labour was in government, just hitting us with it, going, oh, you can't do anything because the EU does this. And then they're in power and they're like, oh wait, we need the EU, it's important. Even Dave has come out and said, no, we need the EU, it's important. And then I think the fact that he did that without ever apologising for all the claims that he's made about the economy means that the Remain campaign is weakened. Like, if Labour's saying it's good for the economy, but Labour can't do economics, why should we trust them? But Dave is saying the EU's good for the economy, which means he's agreeing with Labour. Does that mean he was wrong about what he said about Labour and the money? Well, no, because otherwise he would apologise for that, wouldn't he? Because he's meant to be a right honourable sort of guy. But he's not. And so here we are, with a fractured parliament that's telling us to stay, whilst half of it, cross-party, have been telling us for decades to leave. This whole thing's a bloody